Volunteers TV show here on Channel One TV. Today we are privileged to meet a very great personality, an astute legal practitioner, one who believes so much in giving back to society through all that he does. The Member of Parliament for Madina constituency, Honorable Dr. Francis Xavier Susu. Honorable, welcome to Volunteers TV show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for making time with us.
Thank you.
On the show.
Thank you.
You are the freshest PhD holder in law in Ghana. We want to congratulate you so much for the great work you are doing and for the zeal you with which you do what you do. How did your life start?
Good evening to your cherished viewers, and good evening to the good people of Madina who have given me the privilege to serve as a Member of Parliament, and a special good evening to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the entire NDC fraternity for the support you continue to give me to lead the good people of Madina. Let me also place on record that I am part of the freshest PhD holders because I didn't graduate alone. I graduated with 3 other strong guys. Two strong guys and one stronger lady, Dr. Clara Kasati, and then Dr. Amuzu and Dr. Franchi. And so all of them were part together when we had the PhD in law. I was born somewhere on the 12th of February, 1979, to a mother who was a victim of ritual slavery, which is called Trokoti. When virgin girls are given to the shrine to atone for the sins of their forefathers. And so we had to, and she lived there for several years before she escaped the Trokoti shrine.
Here in Ghana?
Yes.
Okay.
And then got involved with my dad, and then the two of them gave birth to us. You know, in Africa generally, the poorer the family, the larger the family. So even though we didn't have much, they managed to produce 6 of us. Yes, our firstborn was blind. In fact, still blind. She was not born blind. She had measles, and then my parents did not understand the medical condition, so she became blind because both of them were uneducated and they were unskilled. They didn't have any job, and so my second-born also dropped out of school, and I was a third. In life, generally, was a difficulty and a challenge. I recall that because of the difficulties at home, all of us became part of the family industry, and we were selling everything sellable, from pepper, tomatoes, onion, momoni, kobe, odemla, kerosene, everything that you can sell, I was selling, and selling on the streets of Accra. I used to be on the Graphic Road selling. I used to be at the Newtown Road selling. I used to hawk with boiled corn, which is known as odemla. Across, there were times I used to sell asan and meat pie. I was selling everything that can be sold, and so that was what I was doing before I had to begin school at 8. So the first time I set my feet in a classroom was when I was 8 years old. And I recall when I went to school, there were many people who were calling me names. Danish Papa, Danish Papa.
Which school was it? And where?
That's Mofa Chepe. Mofa Chepe is at is at Accra New Town. Boka Chepe is there. And then and I was there with other people, and there were some people who felt the way they were being, quote and unquote, disgraced by other people, they were going to stop. And I had friends who actually stopped.
But you persevere.
Oh yeah, I said no, I need to go through this. And it's also because sometimes people don't understand that the speed in life of a person is determined by what is chasing that person. Obviously, if you are being chased by an ant, you don't have a problem. I recall there was a time when we were in Legon doing the first degree, an incident occurred. We were all sleeping outside because we didn't have access to hall, like proper rooms at the time. So we used to sleep at what we call M Plaza. Every Vandal knows M Plaza. Outside at the top there. And while sleeping, there was this Rasta man who I suspect they have either been a little bit under the influence of some either alcohol or some drug or something. I don't know, but we were all sleeping, and in the middle of the night, he felt like vomiting. So he was doing like you can see that he's struggling to vomit. And so his Rasta was hitting the other students who were lying there, because we sleep very, very close to each other. And suddenly all we heard was that one of them, I don't know whether he was having a nightmare or something, just got up and started jumping. Lion, 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 lion. So you can imagine if you are sleeping peacefully and you hear people shouting lion, lion, and you wake up, will you be asking where is the lion? Where is the lion? The first instinct is to start running. That's right. So we started running from M Plaza all the way. Some of us were in boxers, some of us we ran and ran on Thin Lion. We ran and ran and ran and ran. Some of us got all the way to Volta Hall before we were turning, saying that, so where is the lion? And many were injured in the process. So that is an illustration to tell you, for example, when the person got up, if the person has screamed, ant, nobody's going to run. Okay. The action is going to be different. Or mouse. That would, or like, or cockroach. I mean, others may react, but nobody's going to running all the way from right? Plaza to. One night, I recall it very well. Somehow I turned my body and I fell, and the board came and fell on the ground. And I was in so much pain that. How old were you? That must be, because I started school a little bit late, that must be around the teens, 15, 16, about. I had to hold my stomach like that to walk from Kokomemle all the way back to Malata to get myself prepared and come back to school. That was how bad the situation was when at that very formative years. Before, when I finished, by the help of one of my teachers, I managed to get admission into St. John's Grammar School. And at St. John's Grammar School, apart from the first admission fee that my mother borrowed money to pay, now let me add that admission fee that she borrowed, she was paying interest on admission fees until I came to University of Ghana. First year, part of my student loan went and paid for. They were still paying the interest until I can pay the student loan, part of the student loan. On this show, Volunteers TV show, we promote volunteerism, active citizenship, patriotism, love for nation. Yeah. We want to build the Ghana we all want as a people. Talk about volunteerism. I know you do a lot of legal services pro bono. What motivates you to do that? I think what motivates me to do that is the fact that I believe my life would have been meaningless but for the benevolence of other people who came into my life to support me, especially the Church of Christ and the Village of Hope Orphanage that adopted me into an orphanage.
The
Village of Hope Orphanage at Gomafete. And that Fred, who is my dad, who was been the MD and has worked there almost all his life, was at my graduation recently. And I want to use the platform to say thank you to the Village of Hope Orphanage and to encourage all Ghanaians, wherever you are. In fact, Village of Hope Orphanage is 30 years this year. And I think on the 24th of February, there is going to be a special event here in Accra. Wherever you are, let's all try and support the Village of Hope Orphanage, because without the Village of Hope Orphanage, I wouldn't have been here. In fact, when the Village of Hope Orphanage came to adopt me, at the time they were adopting me, I was at St. John's Grammar School. I was a senior boys prefect. And even though I was a senior boys prefect, and even the process before I became a senior boys, I remember every time when they would come to ask for school fees, I don't have it, they will lash me and sack me. I'll go and come back. 6 hot lashes, you go and come back. So I was, every time they sack me, so in fact I became a very notorious school fees defaulter, because like if you sack him, he will come back. If you sack him, he will come back. I recall that it got to a point, Mrs. Susanna Demo, who was a then headmaster, said, "Look, headmistress," she said, "This man, you sack him, he will go and come back. So just give." So she gave me a small cheat. Please excuse my sister. So now when the teacher comes, I will show. Then it's okay. You leave it.
So all of this made you have
empathy. So I had to dedicate myself also serving the school. I was a class captain for almost, a good number of years time before I became the senior boys prefect, became the SRC Zone 5 president for Greater Accra. And because then I thought the only way I can say thank you for the benevolence of society is to go back and help other people. Because the Village of Hope, in fact, it was at the Village of Hope that I had the first 3 square meal. And they had the privilege for the first time to sleep on a mattress, on a student mattress. What? That's the first time. That's the first time. That is the time I was a senior boys prefect. And those days, I remember that when we were kids, I still go and sell on the street before they came. And when I see my colleague students, I'll dodge them. Then when they come and pass, then I'll restart it. Because it was a bit shameful to me doing all this. Right. And so it was a real life situation that I was going through. And the benevolence that was shown me from the Village of Hope was a reason for the book titled "Love Lifted Me from the Street." Because it was at the Village of Hope that I encountered what love can do for people, how love and how compassion for people can change their life. So if you realize, back in Medina here, every year I do what I call compassion outreach. I do compassion outreach, something to reach out to people. Beyond the compassion outreach, we have this our educational outreach programs, our Medina Job Center programs that has benefited over 10,000 people, and we are still trying to help beneficiaries to do their own thing. We're just making sure that these programs and projects are designed in a way that you just give back to society. In fact, it's when I finished Legon, did the first year and I finished first degree and I finished, I went to Village of Hope to help the other orphans. It was in the process of helping my brothers, the orphan, that I met Elder Don Barnett, and may he still rest in peace. So Elder Don Barnett was the one who asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to do law. Initially, he wanted to take me to go and do my law in the USA at Pepperdine Law School in California, Malibu. So I wrote what we call the LSAT, Law School's admission test. Unfortunately, I could not get the full scholarship that was needed because it was so expensive at the time. So we agreed that if I can't get a full scholarship, let me just stay in Ghana and do it at the Ghana School of Law. That's how I ended up doing the LLB in Ghana. So when I see the consistent intervention in my life, so in one of my books I describe them angels on the way. Angels on the way, God positioning people at different times in your life that open doors for you. And I have a number of these angels that God has placed in my life. And when I look at the support I've received from these people, the love they've shown me, I believe the only way I can say thank you is for me to become the same love to other people. And for me, that motivates me a lot to volunteer on several things. In fact, it's the reason why as soon as I finished law school, in fact, a number of things happened when I finished law school. I recall that I was sent to lawyer Maxwell Logan, and lawyer Maxwell Logan Senior, I'm so grateful and thank you for your training. He poached me from the law school. I was a class captain for my school. He poached me and
To his chamber.
trained me, yes, to his team, Logan Associates, and trained me even before we were even called to the bar. And then once we were called to the bar, my pupillage I did with him. And as soon as I finished with the pupillage, into close to about a year and a half in the training, the former president Atta Mills, may he so rest in peace, I did a presentation at GIMPA in a leadership club. And Honorable John Tia, may he so also rest in peace, the former information minister, he was in the club. And he said, young man, if this is your story, we don't think you should keep this story to us only the elderly people. We need you to go talk to our kids. So I said a concept to them, and we began a program.
Talk to them as in motivating them.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we had a program called Public Schools Orientation Tour. So the public school orientation tour was designed in such a way that the assemblies were paying for it, like for my coming, and I go and share my life story with the kids. And I stay on the campus, they ask me questions, I answer. And I had a book on education at the time titled Homeless. So the book titled Homeless, it was also a GES approved book for public school. So those days when students used to be billed, they used to bill them and they take the book in their numbers and then they give it to them so they can read, and get motivated. And so that program took me across the country, and I was speaking in almost all regions. So when I went around speaking to children in almost all the senior high schools, we reached out to over 800,000 children across the country. Speaking
Senior high school.
Okay. And speaking to them, and every school we went, you could see the impact of that mentorship. And I believe, I honestly believe that I may have to even start that mentorship again, because there are many. I believe that a lot of our young kids are misguided. It's a generation of misguided people, because people are not getting the picture well. You know, everybody believes that somebody owes them something. So if the people don't do it for them, then they cannot help themselves. My uncle didn't try for me, my mother didn't try for me, my dad didn't try for me. But the question is that even if nobody helps you, create your own opportunities and create your own wealth. That is how it is. People are willing to help people who are willing to be helped. There are times that people need help, but they are not willing to be helped because they have what they believe to be the help in their mind.
Honorable, among the numerous human right cases you have handled, I mean, pro bono, which of them will you say really stand out and touch you more and you feel so fulfilled to have handled?
Well, I think that there are a number of them, and I think each of them has a very serious implication. For example, when we were doing the Justice for All program like this, we were touring all prisons, and that was a voluntary work I was doing. And if on my count, I represented over 800 prisoners. Then along the line, I recall the case of Francis Ejari, the one that gave me problem, the General Legal Counsel. But I felt fulfilled that somebody that I met who wanted to commit suicide, we were able to lead the way to get compensation for the first time in a human rights court for him. The case of Erica Santi, who was a teacher accused of defiling somebody and then was convicted. And we did appeal at the Supreme Court, got him acquitted and discharged. But unfortunately, he was discharged at the time that he has already served all the 15 years in hard labor. Of course, we did some other processes, but when it's the case of Charles Enki, the man who was having mental health he was a mental health patient who said he wanted to go and kill the President Muhammad. Then
Yes.
he was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. I went back. We worked. The imprisonment was quashed, and he was sent to psychiatric home, and until he became well, before we brought him. The case of Patrick Reynolds is what breaks my heart a lot. Patrick Reynolds, the billboard had collapsed on him, and he was 100% paralyzed. And the reason why it breaks my heart was that it was in the course of doing that case that the GLC suspended me. And so I couldn't finish that case, and Patrick Reynolds passed away. And it was a very heartbreaking one when Patrick Reynolds passed. Then there is the very, very recent case where we heard that there are a number of the victims that we stand for. You heard about a 13-year-old girl impregnated by gang rape by 20 men or something. There was a news item like that some time ago. I needed to move in swiftly, rescue the 13-year-old girl, and take her into my home, arrange for her to get shelter. And this just happened. It's a very recent one. I would say that just I think last month, or it was even this month, somewhere there, she delivered. A beautiful baby that we process, and they are being kept in, and they are being taken care of. We followed up with secure conviction of some of the people that were involved, and that was one of the cases that also broke my heart. So each of those cases, they're peculiar on their own. They are so peculiar that each of them has some emotional attachment, and it breaks your heart that sometimes you have a system that does not, favor people in the way it should. So I am glad that I can use my space to give the little I can do.
Now you are a member of the General Legal Council, and we all know of the number of human rights issues and abuses that are out there. Many cases people cannot even afford for legal services, and at times people have to just let go of the case because they can't pursue it. There is no money to pursue it. What do you have to say about our legal aid in this country, and what do you think can be done to strengthen it enough to be able to support the vulnerable in society?
I think that legal aid in Ghana is heavily underfunded, and so it is a reason why we don't have quality legal aid from the state side. And I believe that every lawyer in Ghana at some point in time does legal aid. By all means, there's one friend that will call you and say, every lawyer does some form of legal aid. I think what we do not have is a very structured regime that allow for lawyers to properly dedicate part of their legal practice time to do legal aid, and that must be as a credit to them by the regulator of lawyers. We must have a credit system where, for example, before you renew your license at the end of the year, it is tied to at least some one or two legal aid cases that
an intentional system
that ensures that everyone does some legal aid. And so if you do that, we can always have many more lawyers involved in pro bono legal services to help people, in their situation.
On this platform, as I said, it's volunteers TV show. Volunteerism, giving back to society, right from childhood to youth stage and even adults. How do you think, from where you sit and from how far you have come, how do you think we can use volunteerism to build the Ghana we want?
I believe that volunteerism is a powerful tool that every young person can use to build the Ghana we want. In the first place, there is value in volunteerism. Volunteerism brings benefit, right from senior high school to University of Ghana to other courses I've joined till now. I can say on authority that courses that I joined as a volunteer are the courses that created a social capital for me to do the things I do today. For example, right from from senior high school, the first voluntary program that I joined is what we call the God's End Time Movement.
Okay.
And there were young people that came together at Taifa, Burkina, and we're going around.
Was it a religious program?
Yes,
okay.
It was a religious program.
Okay.
The second one is what we call the WIPO, World Youth Potential Organization. And this is a project that we brought all the way to University of Ghana, and we're trying to join to just encourage young people.
Okay.
I recall that when on the University of Ghana campus, of course, I joined the SRC and became the welfare secretary of the SRC, so I can volunteer time to do that. On University of Ghana campus, after I lost the SRC president, I set up what we call the Disney Fund, Disabled and Needy Student Education Fund. And we used to gather students. When we are going to lecture, we will push our brothers who are on wheelchairs. We try to get them white cane. And each of these things I was doing were consistent with my own values, and they were also helping me build my own future. And I recall that the first major thing that ever brought me to TV was when we launched that Disney Fund at the University of Ghana. That was the first time everybody said, "Hey, who are you?" And people tried to inquire about me and what I do. And when I finished and I was practicing law, there are several courses that I've joined. For example, International Association of People's Lawyers, to volunteer to defend lawyers that are under attack. The Youth for Human Rights Africa, which I set up, and the Youth for Human Rights Africa, I used to represent Youth for Human Rights Africa as the Human Rights Ambassador at the UN. And each of these things were opening different doors and opportunities for me. So when you volunteer your time, and your understanding of volunteerism is service, just service,
giving back to society, serving humanity,
servanthood and servant leadership. If that is your motive, somehow it finds a way to compensate you. When I went round to do the public school orientation tour and was selling those books, the money I got from that was what I used to establish the FX Law and Associates. So once you are volunteering your time building people, it turns around also building you. Whilst now, as Madina here, if you look at the programs that we've lined up from the Madina Job Center, Madina Center of Chamber of Commerce, our health project,
from your office as the member of parliament,
education project, and the Islam project, the Madina Christian Council, all these programs that I've lined down, it helps promote cohesion and development of individuals within the community. Because you see, when we are talking about national development, everybody has a role to play. Everybody has a role to contribute. His Excellency the President cannot descend from Jubilee House and come to Madina and come and look for those who are needy so he can support them. I am his rep to do that. So if I can do that, if I can be the change, and you can be the change, some CEO can be the change, and everybody is doing what you can do, your own corner. We can all volunteer some time to do something. We will all build the Ghana we want, and we will shape and change the destiny and the future of Ghana.
Wonderful. And we want to thank you very much, Honorable, for making time with us on Volunteer TV Show. We believe that all these nuggets that you have shared with us, and especially my viewers and the young people out there, we are inspired to do more in building the Ghana we want together. Viewers, we've been talking to Honorable Dr. Francis Xavier Susu, the Member of Parliament for Madina constituency, a lawyer, and I know you do business too, Honorable. We want to thank you very much, Honorable, for making time with that. We look forward to having more of you in the coming days. Thank you. And congratulations once again.
Thank you.